My 415 lesson on some consonant digraphs for my SESE 415 class. So let's get this lesson started. So, by the way, before I start, I would like to state that I would have a whiteboard with the letters that I'm going to review on it. I would have a whiteboard with or a projector. That way I can project the actual papers that I'm going to be using or have the students use it. And then I would also have the vocabulary terms written on there as well on the whiteboard in the corner with their definitions, so that way they write them for the students. So, all right, class, it's time to get ready for our lesson. When we start our lesson, I expect you all to be sitting down in your seats and quiet unless called upon. I will ask you all to sound out some words together, but until I tell you all together, everyone should be quiet and raise their hand if you have a question. Today we're going to review some letter sounds that we have went over before, so that way we can be prepared for our new sounds. We'll learn how to sound out sh, ch, and th. And then I would point to the board and some words that go with those sounds. Let's review some of our letter sounds. And these would all be written on the board behind me, and I would be turning and pointing. So, what sound does the letter S make? S. Good job. What sound does the letter C make? K. Good job. What sound does the letter T make? T. Good job. And I'd be giving more space in between here, but the way that it uploads and things like that with my laptop, it just doesn't upload that well. What sound does the letter H? Good job. What sound does the letter A make? This is a trick one because it has two sounds. Now we're going to start with the short vowel sound, and then we will go with the long vowel sound. So let's start with the short vowel sound for A. Now let's say the long vowel sound. A. Good job. What sound does the letter I make? I is another vowel, so it has two sounds as well. Let's start with the short vowel sound for I. I. Now let's do the long vowel sound for I. I. Good job. Let's review O. All together, let's say the short vowel sound. O. Now the long vowel sound for O. Ooh. Now we have one last vowel to review, and then let's move on to some consonants. Let's review the short letter sound for U. Now the long vowel sound for U. Ooh. What sound does the letter F make? What sound does the letter M make? What sound does the letter L make? Ooh. What sound does the letter P make? P. What sound does the letter B make? B. Good job, everyone. You did fantastic. Now let's start with our new sounds. Today we're going to be focusing on learning how to sound out sh, ch, and th, ch, sh, ch, and th. First, we will work on the sh, and I will write it on the board. I'm going to practice sounding it out. Sh, sh, sh. Let's sound it out together. Sh, sh, sh. The next letters we will sound out are ch. Write ch on the board. I'm going to practice sounding this out. Ch, ch, Now let's sound it out together. Ch, ch, ch. Good job. Finally, we will work on the last letter sound combination, which is TH. This makes the sound th, th, th. Let's sound it out together. Th, th, th. Writes the words shut, chin, and them on the board. I'm going to practice blending these sounds out. Takes a pointer to point out the words. Sh, t, shut. Ch, in, chin. Th, 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 them. Them. Now, class, we will sound out the words together. I'm going to be handing out a worksheet, so get out your pencils and write your name at the top. And on this worksheet, the WH words would be crossed off. All right, I'm going to project the paper onto the interactive board. All right, class, let's read the directions together. For this part of the lesson, we will be saying the word in the left box. Points to the left box. After that, we will choose the word on the right side that has a similar sound to the one used in the left box. Let's go over the first one. Shelf. Let's sound it out together. Shelf. Shelf. Good job, class. Be sure to follow along with your finger. Now that we have our left box word, let's find the word on the right that has a similar sound. Let's start with the first word. Sound it out together. In, spin. Does that have a similar sound to shelf? Little Susie. Yes. Yes, it does. Why do you think they sound similar? Because they both start with S. Susie, you are right about them both starting with S. But let's remember what sounds we were reviewing today. Let's go back to the board. Ready? We're all going to read these digraphs together. Follow along with me. Shh, shh, shh. Good job. Ch, ch, ch. Good job. Great job, guys. We are focusing on these three digraphs. So we need to find a word that has a similar sound to sh in the shelf. Do we know which one that could be? Let's look. What's our next word? Dog. Does that have a similar sound? No. How about the next one? Let's sound it out together. Ish, wish. Shelf, shelf. Wish, sh. Does that sound similar? Yes, it does. Good job. So you picked the right one. And then we would go through the rest of the words using the sound out method combined with the blending. And then I would also tell them, we are going to go over some more words, and I would project the high frequency words on there. We're going to go over a couple of these words and the PRW words. We're going to go over a couple of these words, and I will let you raise your hand and come to the board and pick one for us to read all aloud together. We're going to do this 5 times. So 5 students will be able to come to the board and then pick a word, and then we will all read it together. So they go and pick up the words, and we read it together. We'll also go over shop, chap, and path and explain their definitions, and I'll have them written on the board with their definition. I'd be using the sound out method. How would I determine if students met the lesson objective? Provide examples you will use to assess learning. I would determine how the students met the lesson objective by giving them this next worksheet. On this worksheet, I would have them, as a class, read aloud and they would have to read all of them. This being, they would have to correctly pronounce 26 out of 36 of the words, which would be 70%. I'm not expecting them as a special ed classroom to get a 80 or 100% because we don't know where everybody is in the classroom. All right, I'm going to give you this paper, and I hand out the paper to all the students. On this paper are words you're going to go over. When I point to the word on the board, you will read the word on your paper out loud. And then we would go over that. If students do not meet the objective, I would go over the words slowly with them and have them sound out the word more clearly. If I'm noticing they cannot pronounce the sounds sh, sh, and the, I will go back over how to pronounce it with them and go slow. I would use the exact same lesson, but teach it slower and focus on the words that they struggle with, because there might be some words that are close to it that they're struggling with. All right, we'll wrap up. Today we all learned how to pronounce it with me. Sh, ch, th. Good job. We went over words like, say it with me, shop, chap, path. Great job. And we're going to go over their definitions. Let's read the definitions together. A shop is a place where you can buy things. Good job. Chap is a man or boy. Good job. Path is a narrow road or way. Great job. You all did fantastic. I'm so proud of you. Next time we'll learn about our outblends. Goodbye.